Have you ever wondered or heard the question, why are there so many interpretations of the Bible? We find ourselves in a world where countless interpretations of the Bible exist, from denominational variations to individual perspectives. Some read it as a historical record, others as a moral guide, and yet others as a spiritual compass. The Bible, in its essence, is a vast, complex tapestry of narratives, laws, prophecies, poems, and letters. Its richness and diversity lend themselves to a myriad of interpretations. But what if there's a way to narrow down these interpretations, to better grasp the true essence of this ancient text? What if the key lies not in the countless translations we read today, but in the original languages in which the Bible was written? The Bible was not written in English, Spanish, French, or any other modern language that we speak today. Its earliest books were penned in ancient Hebrew, while others were written in Aramaic and Greek. Each of these languages has its own unique nuances, idioms, and cultural contexts that are often lost in translation. Imagine reading a poem translated from another language. While you might grasp the basic message, the delicate play of words, the cultural references, and the emotional depth might be lost to you. The same can be said for the Bible. When we read it in translation, we are at the mercy of the translator's understanding and interpretation. Now think about reading that same poem in its original language, understanding each word, each phrase in the context it was intended. A whole new depth of meaning opens up to you. This is the potential of reading and understanding the Bible in its original languages. So, could the key to a more accurate understanding of the Bible lie in its original languages? As we take a look into this topic, we might just find that the answer is a resounding yes. But as with any journey, the first step is recognizing the enigma of biblical interpretation. The Bible wasn't originally written in the languages we read today. Now that might come as a surprise to some. You see, the good book, as we know it, has its roots in three ancient tongues: Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. Each of these languages holds its own significance and sheds a unique light on the biblical text. Let's start with Hebrew. Most of the Old Testament, or the Hebrew Bible as some would call it, was written in this ancient language. Hebrew is a rich, expressive language with a deep connection to the Jewish culture and religion. It's a language that carries weight and history, a language filled with layers of meaning that can be lost in translation. Next, we have Aramaic. While it's not as widely used in the Bible as Hebrew, it holds a crucial place nonetheless. Some portions of the Old Testament, such as the book of Daniel and Ezra, were written in Aramaic. This was the everyday language used in Israel, and even Jesus himself is believed to have spoken Aramaic. Understanding this language helps us get a glimpse into the daily lives of the people from biblical times. Finally, we come to Greek. The New Testament was written in Greek, specifically a form known as Koine Greek. This was the common language of the Eastern Mediterranean from the 4th century BC until the 4th century AD. It was the lingua franca of the time, so to speak, making it an ideal choice to spread the Christian message far and wide. So, why are these languages important? Well, they give us a window into the world in which the Bible was written. They offer us a chance to see the text as it was originally meant to be understood, without the filter of translation. They allow us to appreciate the Bible's poetry, its cultural nuances, and its historical context. In other words, they bring us one step closer to the true essence of the biblical message. Understanding these languages could unlock a deeper comprehension of the biblical text. And isn't that something worth striving for? Translation, though necessary, always carries the risk of alteration. It's a simple fact that we must confront when dealing with any text, but especially when it comes to the Bible, a book of profound significance and profound complexity. Over the centuries, the Bible has been translated into thousands of languages, each version shaped not only by the words on the page, but also by the cultural, historical, and personal contexts of the translators themselves. Picture a chain of whispers passing from one person to another. While the core message remains, subtle shifts and changes inevitably occur. Take, for instance, the word love. It's a simple four-letter word in English, But in the original Greek New Testament, there are 4 distinct words for love, each carrying its own nuance and depth of meaning. When all these are translated into the single English word, love, we risk losing these subtle shades of meaning. The same applies to the Hebrew language of the Old Testament. Hebrew is a deeply expressive language, rich in metaphor and imagery. It's a language where a single word can convey a world of meaning, a meaning that can sometimes be diluted or lost in translation. This is not to say that translations are useless or misleading, far from it. They have brought the Bible's teachings to billions of people, enabling them to draw comfort, guidance, and inspiration. But they are, by their nature, a step removed from the original text. Understanding the original languages of the Bible can provide us with a more authentic, a more nuanced interpretation. It can bring us closer to the thoughts, the feelings, the worldview of those who penned these ancient texts. It's like looking at a painting with your own eyes, rather than through a photograph. You see the texture, the depth, the interplay of light and shadow. You appreciate the work in its raw, unfiltered form. The truth is, no translation is perfect, and each carries the imprint of its own time and culture. But by striving to understand the original languages of the Bible, we can hope to come closer to the heart of its message. So how can we start to understand these ancient languages? This question may seem daunting at first, but fear not, for there are innumerable resources and methods at our disposal to help us on this enlightening journey. Firstly, let's dive into Biblical Hebrew, the main language of the Old Testament. Online courses, textbooks, and even smartphone apps are readily available to guide you through the basics and beyond. Websites like Hebrew for Christians offer free lessons and resources. In addition, you can find academic courses offered by universities such as Harvard and Yale that provide structured learning experiences. Moving on to Aramaic, the language spoken by Jesus himself and used in parts of the Old and New Testaments. It's a bit trickier to learn due to its limited use today, but resources are still out there. Comprehensive Aramaic Lexicon Project, for instance, offers a wealth of information, including lexical entries and grammatical analyses. Lastly, we have Koine Greek, the original language of the New Testament. Just like Hebrew, there are plenty of tools for learning Greek online. Websites such as Biblical Greek offer lessons, while apps like Memories provide interactive exercises to help you memorize vocabulary and grammar. Now keep in mind that learning these languages is not about becoming fluent speakers, but rather about gaining a deeper understanding of the biblical text. It's about seeing the nuances and subtleties that may be lost in translation, or appreciating the lyrical beauty of the original text. It's also worth mentioning that studying these languages can open up a world of primary sources for further research. Ancient commentaries, historical texts, and other biblical-era writings can provide valuable context and insight. While learning a new language may seem daunting, the rewards in terms of biblical understanding can be profound, so why not give it a try? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and in this case, that step might just lead you to a richer, more meaningful connection with these sacred texts. Imagine reading the Bible and experiencing the richness of its original language. There's a certain magic to that, isn't there? A sense of connection to the past, a feeling of being a part of something much larger than ourselves, a bridge across time and space that brings us closer to the very origins of our faith. Reading the Bible in its original languages is like standing on the shoulders of giants, seeing the world through their eyes and understanding their thoughts and feelings. It's like hearing the Word of God as it was first spoken, as if you were there listening to the prophets, the disciples, the apostles. It's a profound experience, a journey of discovery and understanding that can enrich your faith in ways you might not have imagined. What are the rewards of such an understanding? Well, for starters, you'll have a deeper connection to the text. You'll see the nuances, the subtleties, the layers of meaning that can sometimes be lost in translation. You'll appreciate the beauty of the original words, the poetry, the rhythm, the cadence. You'll feel the power of the stories, the lessons, the teachings in a way that is direct and visceral. Moreover, Understanding the Bible in its original languages can give you a more nuanced understanding of its meanings. You'll be able to explore the complexities of the stories, to engage with the ideas and the themes on a more profound level. You'll be able to ask questions, to challenge assumptions, to seek answers, and to find new insights. And finally, understanding the Bible in its original languages can strengthen your relationship with God. It can make your prayers more meaningful, your worship more heartfelt, your faith more resilient. It can inspire you, comfort you, guide you, and empower you. It can help you to live your faith, to embody its teachings, to be a beacon of its light in the world. Understanding the Bible in its original languages is like opening a door to a deeper, richer exploration of faith. It's a journey worth taking, a challenge worth embracing, a reward worth striving for. It's a gift, a treasure, a blessing. And it's waiting for you, ready to be discovered, ready to be embraced, ready to be cherished.